what's up? In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make a simple, In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make a simple and super delicious roast chicken dinner with only 2 sheet trays. This recipe delivers all the joy and pleasure that you'd get from cooking a whole chicken, like juicy, tender meat and crispy skin. But thanks to one little change in technique, we're gonna get much better results much faster and with less overall mess. To get started, I'll grab 4 chicken leg quarters. I'm using these because they deliver the same eating experience of a whole roast chicken, but with half the cook time. Using legs also means that there's no breast involved. Breast meat is nearly impossible to roast properly, especially when it's attached to dark meat. The chicken legs that I bought conveniently have the backbone removed near the thigh joint. If the leg quarters that you buy have a big bone right here, you can cut it off yourself. To do that, just make a deep slice along the backbone like this. This will show the thigh socket. From here, I'll just open up that socket by spreading it out, then I'll cut under the backbone through the middle of that joint until I'm down to the skin. Then the bone should be mostly free and I'll just cut all the way down through the skin. This should only add about 5 minutes to the total prep time, and it's not any harder than peeling shell on shrimp. Now let's make some chicken dust to make it taste good. Into a bowl, I'll combine 20 grams of salt, 5 grams of sugar, 3 grams garlic powder, 3 grams onion powder, and 3 grams of poultry seasoning. Poultry seasoning obviously just works when it comes to chicken. It's got all of the Thanksgiving flavors in it that you want, like thyme, sage, rosemary, and marjoram, and I basically never roast chicken without it. Once in the bowl, I'll just stir to get everything combined. Then I'll grab a chicken leg and season it up by putting it over a bowl and sprinkling 4 to 5 large pinches of the chicken dust all over it until it's covered evenly on all sides. I'm doing this over a bowl because it catches all the extra seasoning that falls off, and that way I can reuse it on the other legs. The amount of salt and sugar in the dust recipe is what I think is the perfect amount for this total amount of meat, so I make sure to get it evenly spread between all 4 pieces, and I use every last bit of it. And once I've got all 4 of these legs dusted up, I'm gonna move this sheet tray over to a 300F oven and slow roast for 75 minutes. Yes, this seems like a long time, but it's all passive and it's gonna give you downtime for doing fun stuff, like scrolling on your phone for 75 minutes until the timer goes off, and then you're like, what the hell just happened? Okay, 15 minutes before my 75-minute timer goes off, I'm gonna grab my veggies and start with 2 onions. For this dish, I want a rustic medium chop, so I'll slice it about 3 times pole to pole, then turn 90 degrees and chop it every inch or so. I want these to be a little bit smaller than everything else because roasty onions are delicious, but they can be a little bit fibrous and we don't want gigantic pieces. Next, I'll take the chunkiest carrots that I can find and cut them into an oblique, which is a nifty little knife cut for when you have an odd shaped veggie that you need to make uniform looking. For that, I'll cut on a diagonal, then turn 45 degrees and cut through the previous diagonal. Shoot for pieces that are about 1 1/4 inch or chunky like this. Next is potatoes. I prefer russets over Yukons because Yukons are high moisture, high sugar, and with the high heat that we're using, that can lead to some premature burning. And nothing fancy with the knife cuts here. I just want a chunky, large dice similar to the carrots. Now the last vegetable is a little bit of a secret weapon. Fennel. I love fennel because it's juicy, sweet, and when you roast it with other stuff, it perfumes it. Especially the potatoes pick up that soft, floral anise flavor. That's the real magic of a mixed roast. Each vegetable makes the other vegetables taste better, and the fennel takes all that to the next level. Okay, I've got 300 grams of fennel chopped into roughly the same size dice that I gave to the onion. And from here, I'm gonna scoot it into the same mixing bowl that I used earlier. Then I'm gonna add in a long squirt of olive oil. I want a lot here, like at least 4 tablespoons. Then I'll grab my salt and add in 2 3-finger pinches. If I'm weighing this on a scale, it'd be about 10 grams. Then I'll just toss the vegetables to get them coated with the salt and the oil, and now they're ready to roast. But first, I gotta check back on my chicken. At the 75-minute mark, the chicken is right where I want it. The fat under the skin has fully rendered, the surface moisture has evaporated, and the meat has gently come up to temperature. At this point, it should be at least 160F in the deepest part of the thigh. By slow roasting these first, we've raised the internal temp gradually, which renders the fat and preserves the moisture inside the meat instead of squeezing it out. What you're left with is deeply juicy chicken meat and skin that's perfectly primed for high heat. From here, I'll hit the skin with a little ziggy of olive oil so that the high heat from the next phase can be effectively transferred into the skin. And once it's glistening like this, I'm gonna throw the chicken back into the oven, but this time I've turned it up to 450. 450F. I also snuck a little sheet tray in here when I pulled the chicken out a second ago, and now it's nice and hot. So I'll spray that sheet tray or brush it with some olive oil so that the carrots and potatoes don't stick to it. Then I'm gonna pour my seasoned up oil vegetables onto that tray. I'll spread them out and make sure to get all the potatoes touching the tray in some way. That way we can get some extra contact so that they catch more crispiness and take on some extra browning. Now the veggie tray goes into the oven along with the chicken, and I'll roast both of them together at 450 for about 20 minutes. While that cooks, I'm gonna make a totally optional but totally exceptional 3-minute chicken jus to serve alongside. But first, I gotta thank Trade Coffee for sponsoring this vid. Trade Coffee delivers excellent quality, freshly roasted coffee to your front door. I love it because the coffee is sourced from people who really know what they're doing. Trade works with over 50 of the country's best roasters. That means that what shows up at your front door hasn't been sitting on a grocery store shelf for weeks getting stale. Instead, it's been roasted very recently. I've been getting coffee delivered from Trade for over 3 years now, and the difference in quality is just plainly obvious, even to people like me who aren't coffee nerds. This bag from Wonder State in Wisconsin, for example, was roasted last week, and it makes what comes out of my $50 drip machine taste like pour over from a third wave coffee shop. Truly. Right now, Trade is offering 50% off a 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Brian. If your first bag isn't quite right, they'll replace it for free, and they'll keep replacing it until they nail it. You guys, I drink Trade coffee every single day because it tastes great and it couldn't be easier. Go to drinktrade.com/Brian to get 50% off your first month. Link in description. To make the chicken sauce, I'll start by adding 30 grams of butter to a warm saucepan, then I'll melt it, and then I'll add in 30 grams of all-purpose flour and whisk that in to get the two combined. Now, we're making a roux. From here, I'm gonna cook the mixture for 30 seconds to remove any raw flour taste. Then I'll add in 400 grams of store-bought chicken stock and 5 to 10 grams of Than Bouillon chicken base. Then I'll whisk that in and bring it up to a spirited simmer and cook over medium heat for about 2 minutes or until the roux thickens up the liquid. The final sauce at this point should be just a little bit thicker and a little bit less seasoned than you'd think, because we're gonna be adding in chicken drips later on, which will thin it out and bring a bunch more salt. And after about 20 to 25 minutes at 450F, I'm gonna pull the roasted chicken legs out of the oven. And yeah, dude, they look super nice. But what I need to check for, in addition to great color, is the internal temp. So I'm gonna insert a thermometer into the deepest part of the thigh, and perfect. This thigh is at 185F, which is the temperature where the meat will be super tender and rendered enough to shred off of the bone. If yours is well below this, throw it back into the oven and don't worry too much about color. These thighs can handle a lot of browning before they dry out. Back at the oven, I'll check on the vegetables. After about 20 minutes at 450, everything on this tray is tender, but we need a little bit more roasty color and flavor. So to finish these things off in style, I'll turn my broiler up to high, then rip them at about a 10-inch distance for 5 to 10 minutes until they're caramelized, softened, and roasty looking. For now, let's take a closer look at all those chicken drippings. This is called fond, and it tastes incredible. So to harvest all this drip, I'm gonna add about a half cup of water or stock onto the sheet tray, then use a wooden spoon to scrape it up. If the sheet tray is still really hot from the oven at this point, it's gonna give its gift easier, but filming takes time and the sheet tray has gone cold. So to get a little bit easier release on the fond, I'm actually gonna scoot this tray over to my stove and hit it with just a little bit of heat underneath. This is gonna warm up the liquid and help melt all that brown stuff. Whoa, look at that. Absolute perfect success with the deglaze. This is like roast chicken distillate. It's very, very powerful though, so be careful. Now I'm gonna pour these chicken drippings into the sauce base that we whipped up earlier, then I'll set it aside until it's time to eat. Back at the oven, the veggies have been getting abused by the broiler for about 5 to 6 minutes, and at this point I'm gonna give everything a quick stir just to make sure that all this surface area is getting some amount of brutal, direct heat. Once stirred, I'll slide this tray back in and broil it for about 5 more minutes. You guys, a perfect sheet pan of mixed roasted vegetables is elusive, or at least it always has been for me, but I finally found a method that works. With this method, you get a perfect mix of textures and flavors, from the sweet aromatic fennel and carrots all the way to the potatoes that are crispy and savory, almost like French fries. Okay, to serve, the sauce is gonna go back on heat, then I'll stir in the chicken drips and bring it up to a simmer to get things thickened back up and heated through. By the way, this is 2 times the amount of sauce that you need for this recipe, but it freezes perfectly, so you can save the other half for the next time you want to eat some roasty meat. Ooh, man, that is so chickeny. Oh my God. To serve, I'm gonna pile some of this mixed roast onto a plate with a big old chicken leg, then hit it with some of that roasted chicken jus. And that's a rustic, comforting plate of food that literally anyone would love to eat on a cold fall evening. The chicken has been perfectly cooked. As you can see that when I put a fork into it, it shreds right off the bone. And that's thanks to that slow roast up front. It's just so succulent, it's so juicy, and so chicken flavored. The dried poultry herb blend, guys, it just drives me insane. And the vegetables, they're so nice. They're tender, but not mushy. They're super roasty, and the flavor is unified. It all just makes sense together. This is just a beautiful dinner, and I really hope you guys make it. If you guys want some other ideas for weeknight chicken meals, check out this video for 5 dinners that start with a rotisserie chicken. I hope you watch it. I'll see you there.